No more. I'm sitting in a field. The evening sun puts the flowers in a golden light. No more, Eddie Vedder sings, no, screams into my ears. No more, I scream, no more war. I woke up feeling a huge heaviness, and I went to bed with tears in my eyes. Only later had I read about the Israelian airstrikes against Iran. Only later I had read about what my body already knew. I felt aches in my whole body, inflammations, pain. It's there, all that suffering. It's just a reflection of this world, a mirror of what humans do to this earth and to each other. With our eyes we're saying no more. With our voices we're saying no more. With our bodies we're saying no more war. There's no escape from that, rightly so. I feel the rage burning in my chest. I want to scream in their faces, those small greedy boys dressed in suits and deciding over airstrikes during fancy dinners. I want to put them on the front line. I want to say, how do you like it now, this war? No more, I scream. No more war. I grew up without war around me, luckily. But the war from the past generation still lives inside my body. Sometimes it tells me stories that are not mine but run through my veins and bones. And it warns me, reminds me of what this violence has done and will do. Wants me to speak up, wants me to scream. With our minds we're saying no more. With our hearts we're saying no more. With our lives we're saying no more war. I see my father as a small boy. He was just born when his father went to war. I see a small boy that is supposed to have a father that takes him for walks, asks him questions, and teaches him chess or archery. A father that shows him the world. 6 years without father. A few letters, a few visits. That's it. Nobody that taught him how to swim in the river, that patted him on the shoulder and told him that he was proud of him. No father that was there on the ship that brought them out of the danger zone, away from their home into a new town, into an unknown future. Mother, 3 sons and a daughter, refugees. I see kids from Syria, from Iraq, from Gaza, Ukraine, Afghanistan, you name it, in a foreign country, taken out of their roots, learning a new language, being labeled strangers. I see them navigating through an unknown territory, becoming a parent for the parents that are even more lost. He's 6 years old. 6 fucking years. A boy that should carry a beautiful school cone filled with fruits and candy, that should walk side by side with his father. I see kids in Gaza and Ukraine that will never know what the first day of school is like. I see how they grow up around debris that becomes their playground, how they get used to the sound of sirens and bombs dropping instead of school bells ringing. No more, I scream, no more war. I see my father exchanging cigarettes for chocolate with the British officers. I see him playing hide and seek in ruins. I see him and his friends selling unused munition that they collected. I see them behaving like little racketeers. I see him falling in the river, drying his clothes by the riverbank so his mother does not find out. I imagine this boy that always had to be strong, who had to hide his fears before his mom, who had no father to lean on, to ask for advice. I see him. How he learns to take on these roles, how he turns into adult by the time he goes to school, how he learns to hide his flaws, how he learns to solve problems himself, how he keeps inside how he feels, how he learns to survive. No more, I scream, no more war. I read about fathers in Ukraine, in Israel, in Sudan, taken away from their families. For what? To fight other fathers that were taken away from their families? For what? I see my mother's father, my grandfather, fighting another one of these wars, one that is already lost and has taken millions of lives. I see him trying to protect his comrades while the village where his family lives is being attacked. I see his helplessness. I try to imagine him hearing the news that his father was shot, his family expelled, his home taken away. I see another father taken, another family torn apart, another home destroyed. There are no victors in war, there are only victims. I see a young man in his 20s who will carry a burden until the end of his life, who will never get over the guilt of not having been able to save his father and protect his family. A young man that will never trust again. I see thousands and thousands of young men being used, their lives being taken for the interest of a few, their kids, their families left behind. Populations being manipulated, spilled with propaganda and rewarded for atrocities. I see kids growing up with hatred, with an image of the enemy. I see the flame of revenge burning inside them, wanting to be released, waiting for a reason to strike back. I hear the pain of those who happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, who will never ask about what they thought, mothers, children, ordinary people, that have no interest in politics, that just want to live a life in peace. I see the trauma continuing. I see the cycle continuing. No more, I scream, no more war. I see my father growing up in a broken country. I see how the absence of a father shapes his reality. I see his fear to be vulnerable, to be seen as weak. I see him seeking validation from other men, second fathers. I see him running away from love. I see the shame buried deep inside of him, a little moment of criticism, of rejection that can open this wound, a tape around the kid's whisper that wonders, maybe it was my fault. I see boys growing into men that don't know how to love. I see them drinking, beating, killing themselves, running away. I see them blaming the whole world for having taken away their childhood, their future. I don't blame them. No more, I scream, no more war. No more innocents dying, no more terrorizing, no more eulogizing, no more evangelizing, no more presidents lying, no more. With our minds we're saying no more, with our hearts we're saying no more, with our lives we're saying no more war.